Hey everyone, welcome back to the English Practice Podcast. I'm Ryan, and I'm here with my amazing co-host, Sophie.
Hello, wonderful listeners. It is such a joy to be with you again. If you're new here, we are so happy you found us. Take a deep breath and get comfortable. And to our incredible community of returning learners, welcome home. We're so proud to be on this journey with you.
Sophie, I want to start today with a question for everyone listening. Have you ever had that feeling where the English words are right there, swimming around in your head? You know them, you understand them, but when you try to speak, they get stuck? It's like a traffic jam between your brain and your mouth.
Oh, that feeling is so universal. It's a silent frustration that almost every learner experiences. Or how about this? You're listening to a conversation and you're catching some words, but the overall meaning just flies past you and you're left feeling lost and a little bit discouraged.
Exactly. If any of that sounds familiar, then this episode is for you. Today, we're not just talking about vocabulary lists or grammar rules. We're going much deeper. We're talking about the incredible, powerful, and scientifically proven idea that you can physically change your brain to make learning English easier. We're talking about how to train your brain for fluency.
This is where the real magic happens. So many people think they are either good at languages or bad at languages, as if it's something you're born with. But the truth, the beautiful truth, is that your brain is like clay. It's soft, it's adaptable, and with the right techniques, you can shape it. You can build new abilities, new skills, and a new confidence that you might not even believe is possible right now.
Today, we are going to be your guides. We'll show you how to become the architect of your own mind. We'll explore the simple, daily actions that create powerful new pathways in your brain, making English feel less like a foreign language and more like a second home.
So, if you've ever felt like you've hit a wall in your learning, please stay with us. This conversation could be the key that unlocks everything for you. We promise to share stories that will inspire you, insights that will empower you, and practical steps you can take the moment this episode ends. Let's begin this incredible journey together.
So, Sophie, let's start at the very beginning. This idea of training or rewiring the brain can sound so complex, almost like something out of a science fiction movie. Can you break it down for us? What does it truly mean?
I'd love to. Let's forget the complicated scientific terms for a moment and use a metaphor. Imagine your brain is a vast, beautiful, untouched field of fresh snow. When you were a child and learned your first language, you walked a certain path across that snow every single day. Over the years, that path became a deep, wide, comfortable trench. It's effortless to walk in. That's your native language.
That's a beautiful image. So it's easy, automatic. You don't even have to think about where your feet are going.
Precisely. Now, when you start learning English, you have to step out of that comfortable trench and start walking on a new part of the snowy field. The first step is hard. You sink into the snow. It's cold, it's slow, it takes an enormous amount of energy and concentration just to take a few steps. And with understanding, that is the feeling of your brain trying to do something new.
And every time you practice English, every time you listen to a song, say a word out loud, or try to form a sentence, you are taking another step in that same new direction. You're packing down the snow, little by little.
Exactly. This is the process scientists call neuroplasticity. It's not a metaphor, it's a physical reality. Your brain cells, your neurons, are actually forming new connections with each other. The first few times that connection is weak, like a thin piece of thread. But the more you repeat the action, the more that thread thickens into a string, then a rope, and eventually a powerful, unbreakable cable. And your new path in the snow becomes firmer and easier to walk on.
So, That feeling of difficulty and slowness at the beginning is not a sign that you're bad at English. It's the sound of construction. It's the feeling of your brain physically building a new road. That's a huge mindset shift right there.
I love that. And the most empowering part of this science is that this ability, this neuroplasticity, doesn't disappear when you get older. Your field of snow is always ready for new paths. It doesn't matter if you're 16 or 60. You have the innate ability to train your brain.
And here's the most exciting part. When you're thinking in your native language, you're just walking in that old, comfortable trench. But the moment you consciously choose to think a thought in English, even something as simple as, "Oh, I see a tree," you are a pioneer. You are an explorer, stepping onto that fresh snow, actively building your new future.
So, for everyone listening, that feeling of your brain hurting a little when you're trying to speak or understand, that's not failure. That's the feeling of growth. That's the feeling of your brain getting stronger.
Yes, embrace that feeling. It means you're doing it right. You are not bad at English. You are in the process of building a masterpiece. And today, we're going to give you the blueprints and the tools to be the best brain architect you can be.
Now that we understand the beautiful process of how our brain can change, let's talk about the reality of why it often feels so hard to do so. What are those big emotional and mental walls we hit? That's coming up next. Stick with us. Okay, Sophie, we've painted this beautiful picture of the brain as a field of snow, ready for new paths. But let's be honest. The reality for many learners is that they feel like they're stuck in a blizzard. It can feel impossibly hard. Let's talk about why.
Let's be very real about this, because acknowledging the struggle is the first step to overcoming it. The number one reason it feels hard is what you could call brain inertia. Your brain, as we said, loves that deep, comfortable trench of your native language. It's efficient. It saves energy. When you force it to start a new path in the snow, it resists. Its initial reaction is, "This is hard work. Why don't we go back to what's easy?"
That resistance is a real feeling. It shows up as mental fatigue, a feeling of wanting to procrastinate, or even just a sense of frustration. It's your brain's comfort-seeking mechanism kicking in.
And this is amplified if your native language is very different from English. I once coached a student from Japan named Kenji. In Japanese, the sentence structure is almost the reverse of English. He told me that when he tried to speak English, it felt like trying to write with his non-dominant hand. Everything felt backward and unnatural. His brain wasn't just learning new words, it was fighting a lifetime of grammatical instinct.
That's a perfect description. It's a fight against deeply ingrained habits. But let's talk about the even bigger monster, Sophie, the one that stops people before they even start. Fear.
Oh, fear is a dream killer. It's a voice in our head that whispers the most terrible things. You're going to make a mistake. People will laugh at you. You sound stupid. They won't understand you, and it will be awkward. That fear is so powerful.
It is, and it triggers a genuine physical response. It's the fight or flight response. Your heart rate increases, your mind goes blank. It becomes physically difficult to think clearly and access the words you know. I had a student, Maria, who was brilliant in our one-on-one classes, but in a group setting, she would completely shut down. She told me later, quoting, "It's like a curtain falls down inside my brain. I know the answers, but I can't reach them." That curtain was fear.
And what we have to understand is that our brains are wired to protect us from social embarrassment. To our ancient brain, being rejected by the tribe was a death sentence. So that fear of sounding silly isn't just you being weak, it's a deep primal instinct. But here's the secret. You have to feel that fear and do it anyway. Every time you speak, even when you're scared, you are teaching your brain a new lesson. You are teaching it that making a mistake is not a threat. You are showing it that you will survive.
You're literally rewiring your fear response. And that brings us to another challenge, the translation trap. We talked about Marco before, who would build sentences in Spanish and then translate them. This creates a terrible habit. It's like insisting on bringing a Spanish to English dictionary with you on your walk in the snow and looking up every single step before you take it. You'll move incredibly slowly, and you'll never learn to walk naturally.
That's such a vivid image. And the alternative is to learn to think directly in English, to start by naming the things around you. Chair, window, lamp. To build simple thoughts. I am thirsty. That music is nice. You are nice. You are intentionally creating a direct path without the detour of translation.
So, for everyone listening, that feeling of your brain hurting a little when you're trying to speak or understand, that's not failure. It's the natural result of your brain doing something incredibly difficult and brave. It's wrestling with inertia, fear, and old habits. The solution isn't to wish it were easier. It's to build better habits to help you walk that new path.
And that is the perfect place to go next. Let's talk about the incredible, life-changing power of habits and how you can harness them to become the master of your brain.
So let's talk about the superpower that will help us build these new roads in our brain. Habits. Sophie, this word gets thrown around a lot. But in the context of language learning, how can we truly understand its power?
I think of habits as the magic of automation. Our brains are constantly looking for ways to put our lives on autopilot to save energy. A habit is simply a loop, a cue, a routine, and a reward. And once that loop is established, it requires almost no willpower to perform. Think about it. You don't need motivation to brush your teeth, right? It just happens.
Right. It's automatic. So our goal is to make our English practice just as automatic, to create these small, powerful loops that our brain runs without resistance.
Exactly. And the story of Anya and her 3 flashcards a night is the perfect example. The cue was getting into bed. The routine was reviewing 3 words. The reward was the small feeling of accomplishment. In the beginning, it took discipline. But after a month, her brain had automated it. It had built a tiny, smooth path. And those tiny paths, over time, merge together to form a highway.
The problem is that most people try to build a highway overnight. They say, I'm going to study English for 2 hours every day. And they do it for 3 days, get exhausted, and quit for a month. That's like trying to clear a whole forest in one afternoon. You'll just end up tired and defeated.
It's the absolute truth. The secret is to start ridiculously small. So small that your brain doesn't even see it as a threat. Let's say you want to improve your listening. Don't commit to a 1-hour podcast. Commit to listening to 1 song in English every day on your way to work. Just 1. Can you do that? Of course you can. It's easy.
And then the magic happens. After a week of listening to 1 song, maybe you listen to 2. The habit is already there. You're just extending it slightly.
You are slowly, gently, and consistently paving that new road in your brain without shocking the system.
And it's so important, as you build these good habits, to be a detective and spot the bad ones. The translation habit is a big one. Another one is the habit of passive consumption. This is where you watch hours of English TV shows, but never actually speak or write.
That's a tricky one because it feels productive.
It does. And passive listening is good, but it's only half the equation. To truly train your brain, you need active engagement. So, let's build a new habit. After you watch a scene from a show, pause it, and try to say one sentence out loud about what just happened. Just one. The man is running. She looks sad. With emphasis, you are interrupting the passive habit and replacing it with an active one. You are forcing your brain to produce language, not just consume it.
That's such a powerful, simple shift, and it connects directly to building that habit of thinking in English. You can start narrating your own life like a movie director. As you're making breakfast, you can think or whisper in a narrative tone, "Okay, now I'm cracking the eggs. I'm getting the salt." It feels so silly at first, but you are performing hundreds of tiny repetitions. You are taking hundreds of small steps on that new path in the snow.
And please be patient with this process. Remember the science. It can take a month or more for these loops to become automatic. There will be days you forget. There will be days you don't feel like it. It doesn't matter. Just show up the next day. The goal is not a perfect streak. The goal is a long-term pattern of consistency.
That's the real magic of habits. They are the gentle, persistent force that can change anything. They are the small steps that over time allow you to cross the entire field of snow.
Coming up next, we're going to share a whole collection of these small, powerful daily practices, these habit starters that you can begin using today to transform your English brain.
Don't go anywhere. This is where the theory becomes action.
All right, it's time to get practical. We've talked about the why and the how. Now let's talk about the what. What are these small daily actions, these brain exercises that will build those English pathways?
And as we go through these, I want everyone listening to think of it like a menu. You don't have to order everything at once. Just pick one or two that sound exciting or manageable to you right now, and start there.
A perfect way to think about it. So let's start with the most fundamental one, immersive listening. I don't just mean hearing English, I mean bathing your brain in it. Make it the soundtrack to your life. When you're cooking, cleaning, driving, have an English podcast, an audiobook, or English music playing.
A lot of this will be passive listening, and that's okay. You're not trying to understand every word. You are training your brain to get comfortable with the rhythm, the melody, and the sounds of English. It's like learning to recognize bird song. You don't do it by analyzing each note. You do it by spending time in the forest. You're letting the patterns seep into your subconscious.
And that brings us to the second, more active practice, speaking out loud. This is non-negotiable. You have to move the language from your head into the physical world. And the story of Lena talking to herself in the mirror is the perfect example. It bridges the gap between knowing and doing.
Let's make this interactive. I want everyone listening right now to try this. Just whisper one sentence in English. It could be, "I am listening to a podcast." Go on, try it. Now, how did that feel? A little strange? That's the feeling of building a new connection. Now, imagine doing that for just 5 minutes every day. You could describe the room you're in. You could talk about your plans for the day. You are literally training the muscles in your mouth and the circuits in your brain.
Another powerful practice is to turn your daily life into your textbook. Get some sticky notes, walk around your house and label 10 things in English. Door, window, table, chair, mirror. Every time you see that object, you will see the English word. You are weaving the language into the fabric of your environment, making it impossible to ignore.
That's a classic, and it works. Another one is to use technology to your advantage. Change the language on your phone to English. It will be confusing for a day or two, but you will learn that essential everyday vocabulary so quickly because you have to. You're creating a need for the language.
And for those who enjoy writing, start a one-sentence journal. That's it. Every night before you go to sleep, write one single sentence in English about your day. It could be, "Today I had a delicious lunch," or "I feel tired but happy." This tiny habit gets you comfortable with expressing your own thoughts and creating your own sentences without the pressure of writing a whole page.
I love that one. And here's a fun one, the shadowing technique. Find a short clip of a native speaker you like, from a movie, a talk show, a podcast, and just listen to one sentence. Then pause it and try to say that sentence exactly as they did. Mimic their emotion, the rhythm, their melody. Do it 10 times if you have to. You're not just learning words, you're learning the music of the language.
All of these are small, manageable actions. They are not giant commitments. They are the tiny steps that pack down the snow. So let's recap that menu of options. Immerse your day in the sounds of English. Speak out loud to yourself. Label your world with sticky notes. Change your phone's language. Keep a one-sentence journal. And practice shadowing.
Pick one, just one to start with this week. Commit to that small habit. And now, let's talk about the fuel that will power you through this entire journey. The most important tool of all, your mindset.
We've covered some amazing practical things you can do to train your brain. But now we need to talk about the inner world, the conversation you're having with yourself every single moment. This is your mindset. And honestly, Ryan, I believe this is the single most important factor that determines success or failure.
I couldn't agree more. Your mindset is the soil in which all your efforts will either grow or wither. You can have the best seeds, the best techniques and habits, but if the soil is toxic, nothing will grow. A toxic mindset is filled with thoughts like, "I'm so bad at this. I'll never learn. I'm just not a language person."
And those thoughts aren't just harmless feelings. They are instructions you are giving to your brain. If you repeatedly tell your brain, "You can't do this," your brain will obey. It will shut down possibilities and look for evidence to prove you right. It will magnify every mistake as proof of your failure.
But here's the beautiful thing. You can change the soil. You are the gardener. You can choose to cultivate a growth mindset. This starts by changing your internal language. It's about a simple but profound shift from "I can't do this" to "I can't do this yet."
That one little word, yet, is so powerful. It changes a statement of fact into a statement of journey. It acknowledges the struggle, but holds on to the possibility of growth. Let's try another one. Instead of saying, "I made a mistake," what if you reframed it as, "I discovered a new way not to do it"?
That's the mindset of an inventor, a scientist. Thomas Edison famously said he didn't fail 10,000 times to invent the light bulb. He found 10,000 ways that wouldn't work. Every failure was just data. It was progress. When you make a mistake speaking English, it's not a failure.
It's your brain giving you a free lesson. It's saying, okay, that connection was a bit weak. Let's try building it another way.
I want everyone to really let that sink in. Your mistakes are your greatest teachers. Don't be ashamed of them. Celebrate them. A mistake means you are brave enough to try. It means you are willing to step out of your comfort zone. Perfectionism is the enemy of progress. The person who is afraid to make a mistake will never say anything. The person who embraces mistakes will eventually become fluent.
It's about focusing on progress, not perfection. And part of that is learning to celebrate the small wins. Did you understand one new word in a song today? That's a victory. Did you say hello to someone in English, even if you were nervous? That's a massive victory. Acknowledge it. Give yourself credit. This positive reinforcement tells your brain, hey, what we're doing is good. Let's do more of it.
Let's do a little mind exercise right now. I want you to think of one small English-related thing you did this week. Maybe you listened to this podcast. Maybe you watched a movie. Maybe you just thought of a word in English. Got it? Now, I want you to literally say out loud, "Good job, me." It feels a bit silly, but that self-acknowledgement is so important. It's you actively tending to the garden of your mind.
And when you have this growth mindset, something incredible happens. The journey itself becomes the reward. You stop focusing only on the distant goal of fluency, and you start finding joy in the daily process of learning, growing, and discovering.
Exactly. So your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to become a thought detective. Listen to the way you talk to yourself about English. When you hear that negative, fixed mindset voice, gently thank it for trying to protect you, and then consciously replace its words with the language of growth, possibility, and progress.
This is the most important habit you can build. It's the foundation for everything else. And now that our foundation is strong, let's talk about some specific tools and techniques that will help us build our beautiful English house. All right, our mindset is strong, our habits are forming. Now let's equip ourselves with some of the best tools and techniques out there to accelerate our brain training journey.
Yes, let's fill up our toolkit. And let's start with something you probably have in your pocket right now, your smartphone. Language apps are incredible because they are designed by experts to keep your brain engaged. They use gamification, points, levels, streaks, to make learning feel like playing. This releases dopamine in your brain, which makes you want to come back for more.
And hidden inside these fun games is a powerful scientific principle we mentioned earlier: spaced repetition. This technique is your secret weapon against forgetting. An app like Anki or Memrise is like a personal trainer for your memory. It knows exactly when you're about to forget a word and shows it to you right at that critical moment, strengthening the memory and pushing it deeper into your long-term storage.
It's so efficient. And speaking of memory, let's talk about flashcards again, but with a twist. The most common mistake is to put an English word on one side and its translation on the other. Disappointedly, this just reinforces the bad habit of translating. So, let's try something different. On one side, write the English word, for example, enormous. Creatively, on the other side, instead of the translation, draw a tiny mouse next to a giant elephant. Or write a simple English sentence. The whale is enormous.
I love that. You're forcing your brain to connect the English word directly to a concept or an image, completely bypassing your native language. You are building that direct, super fast highway.
Now, for a technique that feels more like entertainment than study, immersion. This is about creating an English bubble for yourself. Change your phone's language. Change your computer's language. When you watch a movie, watch it in English. At first, use English subtitles. This connects the sounds you hear to the words you see. As you get more confident, turn the subtitles off and challenge your ears.
Immersing yourself like this does something magical. It makes English feel normal. It makes it feel like a part of your life, not just a subject you study. Your brain starts to absorb the rhythm, the slang, the cultural references, all the things that textbooks can never teach you.
And now for a technique that is more like a high-intensity workout, shadowing. We mentioned it before, but it's so powerful it's worth repeating. It's the act of listening to a native speaker and repeating what they say as they say it. It's hard. You will feel clumsy, but it is perhaps the single best way to improve your pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. It syncs your mouth with your ears.
Think of it like a dance class for your tongue. You are learning the steps, the movements, the flow of the language in a very physical way. Even 5 minutes of shadowing a day can have a dramatic impact on how natural you sound.
Finally, a tool that is often overlooked, your own voice. Record yourself speaking. I know, most people hate the sound of their own voice, but it is an incredibly valuable tool. Record yourself reading a paragraph from a book or just talking about your day for 30 seconds. Then listen back. You will hear your mistakes more clearly. You will notice your pronunciation challenges. It's like having a personal coach who can give you instant feedback.
These tools, apps with spaced repetition, concept-based flashcards, immersion, shadowing, and self-recording are all powerful ways to make your practice more effective and engaging. Experiment with them. See which ones you enjoy.
That's the key. Find the joy. When learning feels like play, your brain is at its most receptive. All right, we've given you so many ideas today. Up next, we're going to bring it all together and talk about how to keep that fire of motivation burning brightly for the entire journey. Ryan, we've covered so much. The science, the habits, the mindset, the tools. But let's talk about the human element, the heart. Learning a language is an emotional journey. There are days of incredible highs, and there are days of crushing lows. How do we keep our motivation alive through it all?
This is the most important question, isn't it? Because the best techniques in the world are useless if you give up. I think the first step is to accept that motivation is not a constant. It's a wave. It comes and it goes.
You will not feel motivated every day. No one does.
That is so freeing to hear. So many people think there's something wrong with them when their motivation dips.
Not at all. The secret is not to rely on motivation. The secret is to rely on your habits. Your habits are what carry you through the days when motivation is low. You don't feel like practicing? It doesn't matter. It's 8 p.m., and that's when you review your 5 flashcards. You just do it. It's your routine. Your habits are your safety net. They ensure you make progress even on your worst days. I love that. Rely on habits, not motivation. And what about your why? We touched on this earlier, but it's so important.
It's everything. Your why is your North Star. It's the deep emotional reason you started this journey. It's not just, I want to learn English. It's, I want to be able to talk to my grandchildren in their native language. Or I want to get that promotion at work so I can provide a better life for my family. Or I want to travel the world and connect with people from different cultures.
Let's ask everyone listening to do this. Take a moment after this podcast and write down your why. And don't write a sentence. Write a story. Describe the feeling you will have when you achieve it. Imagine that conversation with your grandchild. Feel the pride of getting that promotion. See the smile on the face of a new friend you make in a foreign country. Make it real. Make it emotional.
And put that written story somewhere you will see it every day. On your bathroom mirror. As the wallpaper on your phone, when your motivation is gone, your why will be there to remind you what you're fighting for.
Another powerful motivator is to see your own progress. We often don't realize how far we've come. I encourage my students to keep a record. Remember that voice recording exercise? Save the first one you ever make. Then, 3 months later, make another one talking about the same topic. When you listen to them side by side, you will be shocked by your improvement. That tangible proof of progress is incredibly motivating.
That's a brilliant idea. And finally, don't do it alone. Humans are social creatures. Find a community. It could be a conversation club, an online forum, or even just one learning partner who you check in with once a week. Sharing your struggles and your victories with someone else makes the journey less lonely and so much more fun.
You are not just a student learning a subject. You are a person on an incredible journey of growth and transformation. It's going to be challenging, but it is going to be so worth it. Remember your habits, connect with your why, track your progress, and find your tribe.
Well said, Sophie. With that heart-centered approach, you won't just learn English, you'll discover a stronger, more resilient, and more capable version of yourself along the way. We have been on quite a journey together today. We've explored the inner workings of your amazing brain, and we filled your toolkit with strategies and inspiration. Now, let's bring it all home. Let's create your first steps on this new path.
This is not about a giant, overwhelming plan. This is about one small, brave choice you can make today. So here is your invitation. First, choose your tiny habit, just one. From all the ideas we shared, which one sparked a little excitement in you? Was it the one-sentence journal, the sticky notes, listening to one song? Choose one and commit to doing it every day for just 1 week.
Second, define your why. After this episode, take 5 minutes. Find a quiet space and write down the story of why you were on this journey. Connect with the deep emotional core of your goal. What will learning English give you that truly matters?
Third, reframe your mistakes. The very next time you make a mistake in English, and it will happen soon, I want you to stop. Take a breath. And instead of feeling frustrated, I want you to smile and say to yourself, "Thank you. That's a lesson." You are actively rewiring your relationship with the learning process.
These 3 steps, a tiny habit, a clear why, and a new perspective on mistakes, are all you need to begin. You are planting a seed in the garden of your mind, and if you water it with consistency and sunshine, it will grow into something magnificent.
We are so incredibly excited for you. You have everything you need to succeed already inside you. You have a brain that is designed to learn and adapt. You have the courage to take on this challenge. And now you have the knowledge to do it effectively.
We would be so honored to hear about your journey. If you enjoyed this conversation, please consider subscribing to the English Practice Podcast and leaving a review. It helps us reach and support more learners just like you.
And please, share this episode with someone you know who might need to hear this message. Let's create a global community of brave, empowered language learners who are not afraid to make mistakes and are committed to growth.
Thank you, from the bottom of our hearts, for spending this time with us. Keep practicing, stay curious, and be kind to yourself along the way.
Remember, every word you learn, every sentence you speak is a victory. You are building a new road in your mind step by step. We believe in you, and we'll be here cheering you on. We'll see you in the next episode.